but I've been in sales, I've been advertising, I've been marketing, and when I met Ms. Shawn, she said that she'd just never seen anybody build a department before. Well, as you know, in Ukraine, I built the whole agency, but this is actually harder than building an advertising agency from scratch in Ukraine. And I'll tell you why. So instead of calling my presentation building a modern-day marketing department, I'm just going to call it under construction because it's kind of where I'm at. So instead of actually telling you how to do it, I'm going to tell you what I've been up against and all the factors and realities that have hit me in joining this company that's been around for 20 years. It's necessary to keep one's compass in one's eyes and not in the hands. For the hands execute, but the eyes judge. Michelangelo. This is going to be key because I'm a producer, I'm a type A. I'm always looking to jump in and get stuff done and master, the results. But sometimes you have to have a longer vision, and you also have to see your environment and take in your environment before you actually want to implement some change. I learned that the hard way. So let's just go through real quick what is. Working for a 20-year-old company, it's a growing staff. We have a lot of newbies, but we also have a majority of employees who've been there for a really long time. They're not crazy about change. I personally love change. Love it, I accept it, and embrace it, but there's a lot of people, obviously, that, it's hard for them to grasp it. The mission and vision and the business goals are, I would say, in perpetual development since I've been there for 4 months, so that's been challenging as well, but very exciting as they keep having different iterations. Our business plan is to target new verticals outside of trucking. So for 20 years, this company was doing very well, despite itself, without any marketing, has been working in trucking, only trucking. So we're now looking to open up some verticals because what we're doing is very exciting. So we finally have a shot of building the team, and we're looking for a massive overhaul. We're graduating to phase 2 business. We've basically been a mom and pop shop, so to speak. And again, successful in spite of ourselves. But we are graduating to phase 2 business. So goodbye mom, goodbye pop. And how do we get there? Well, this is another thing. My company, 3 partners, they're just incredible entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, basically. This is their business goal. So this is another factor, another element that I had to take into consideration when I was going to build the department. Dr. Adizes, he's, been around for 40 years. He's a recognized change agent in business, and he's worked with over 1,000 companies in more than 35 countries. And he's got a couple books, just a few. And as soon as I even interviewed, I left my interview and they said, go read this book. Read this book, and then first week we get another book. But managing corporate life cycles. And generally speaking, we're around adolescence. And why is this important? Because basically there's a natural life cycle, of course, with every company, every organization. And there are some predictable problems with every single stage. And I would say we're right here, adolescence moving closer to prime. And many times, once companies reach adolescence, they might get a divorce. They might kind of go kaput because it's a really tough time, right? Typically, adolescent kids, there's a lot of problems. You don't really want to grow up, but you might be having fun, but you don't really want to grow up. Well, prime is, of course, the ideal place we'd like to be. That's literally what we're looking for now. Once we hit prime, our CEO can go golfing for, the rest of his days or start another business and whatnot. So that's definitely our goal. So awesome book. Within this presentation, I'm clearly going to be throwing a lot of resources, and we'll save the presentation. You guys can obviously click through all the resources and dive in. This is very, very important. So this is Another book that he wrote was The Ideal Executive and Why You Can't Be One, and what to do about it. So when you want to implement anything at all, you have to have consensus, right? I think that's it, right? In love, relationships, and in business. So they gave me this other book to read, and all the managers read this book, and it really hit me hard that I came out of the gates like, okay, I'm gonna produce, I'm gonna accomplish everything, I'm gonna, everything I do is gonna be like measurable, and I got all this experience. I'm just gonna like move the needle and build a marketing department. And they kind of said, hey, slow down, we gotta read this book. And we love that you have energy and you're a change agent, but you gotta kind of pay respect to our philosophy. And again, Jesus wrote this book. He talks about 4 different styles of managers. Okay, and you need consensus, clearly, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. So in terms of implementing what I want to implement, new processes and new ways of thinking and new philosophy and just literally implementing this department, I had to get buy-in. The 4 different management styles are producer. It's basically P-A-P-I. Producer. Producers care about the what of everything. Okay? They want to know what. They're very functional and very effective. And then there's the entrepreneur that he talks about as another style. They want to know the why or the why not. They're very proactive and effective. These 2 personality types, these 2 management styles, are really in it for the really good for the short run kind of projects or getting things done in the short run. To balance them out, you also have the administrator. Think CFO or even COO. They really don't care about the why or the what. They just want to literally focus on how. They're very systematic and efficient. And then there's the integrator. They're very much concerned with the who. Of course, they're always thinking about who's involved, what's the team going to do, how are they going to react, thinking of others, and making sure they're always integrated. Very much so organically, and they're also very efficient. So these 2 personality types or manager types are into the long run. Again, there is a balance. Where does that bring us? Well, you can be all of these, or some of these, or one of these, but you're going to be predominantly one. So you kind of have to know your style. I learned very quickly that right now in this phase where I'm at, I'm a producer. So my boss is an administrator. Okay, I can't walk into his office and be like, okay, I got this done, I got this plan, let's go, just approve it, can we do this, let's do it. I need to make an appointment with him, I want to make sure that I'm on the books, I want to make sure that I give him an agenda, and clearly he's going to want to know how. So I have to make sure I'm showing him, of course, the numbers and the entire plan. If I talk to our CEO, who's an entrepreneur, he wants to talk about the dreaming and why should we do this? Why aren't we doing this? We should be doing it right now. Let's get it done. So anyway, the bottom line is I got myself in a little bit of trouble before I understood this because I was going 100 miles an hour and really wanted to produce some results. So that's basically what is. That's kind of what I kind of walked in the office. That's everything that was kind of sort of put on my plate in a nutshell. What needs to be is, of course, we have to develop a department and all these capabilities. Copywriting, web analytics, graphic design, development. How do we do that? So how we do that is, this is what I was tasked with. I got there and we had, where's my pointer? Where's my pointer? Chris. I don't have a pointer. Chris is a veteran. Chris has been with the company for 5 years. So he's a graphic designer. He's a big pie. So he's mainly a producer. He's also an integrator, and very much so an entrepreneur as well. Administration, probably not day one, I was telling everybody in the company, come on, let's get together, let's have better communications, let's engage, let's do a flash mob on our break. So that kind of thing. And then we did have a temp for a while, Cheryl, who was very much a big I and A. So Cheryl was a temp. She left. She did not have marketing experience, but she left. And so I ended up meeting Heather at the first networking, sales and marketing networking evening that I went to, which was about, I think, my second week at work. So she met her, introduced me, and I said, I think yes. And she just pointed at her, and I said, wow. So anyway, the point is that we have to learn to not only work together as this team and complement each other, and the whole point of not being a perfect executive is you can't have everything on the list. You can't possibly be good at everything. You certainly don't have, you don't have every strength in every corner. So it's building complementary teams. So not just with our department, I had to start building complementary teams outside of marketing, of course, if I wanted buy-in, if I wanted basically other departments to kind of agree and move forward with all the new processes that we were going to implement. So that's tricky, but it's a fascinating book and philosophy. So, of course, to outsource or not to outsource, what do? When they interviewed me, they said, you're going to use an agency, you're going to build, a department. And I had been consulting for so long, I'm so used to virtual teams, I was like, I don't know if we need an agency. I mean, I can just pull together a team. But this is in San Francisco, and, I was kind of new to the market, so after trying a few temp agencies, a couple of consultants, I was on the fence. 62% of business-to-business marketers say lack of resources for greatest career success, and 53% of marketing executives plan to outsource marketing. So think about where you're at and who you're working with and who you're using and what you're using. Again, we have 75 employees. We've been on for 20 years. We're about to open up to new verticals. So this is a huge overhaul for us. I had to consider what the expert said, and the expert said if you're going to bring in people, you've got to make sure you define expectations. You want tactical, strategic mix in your team. Definitely hire digital natives, because I'm not a digital native. I'm old, but definitely hire some digital natives. And the importance of interpersonal building skills. Again, relationship with other departments, very important. This is why this PAIE was very important, and also the life cycle of your plan. What do CEOs say? This is another kind of consideration I had to do. Not my CEO, but in general. CEOs say that marketing usually can't justify the increased spending by demonstrating how much additional business it will generate. 72% of them. 77% say that we concentrate too much on branding parameters. And 70% of them say that marketing tends to increase ROI by scaling back, like on a third party or agency, instead of actually focusing on increasing top-line growth. Ouch. Okay, so I've got all these things in my head, all these things to deal with. I got the gurus, I got the blueprints, I got the recommendations, what do the experts say? What am I dealing with internally? Okay, I have like 2 people. I mean, that's not a department, and there's all these other services that I need to bring in or basically resource. So the blueprint, I know, had to go from basically tactical to strategic. I wanted to elevate the marketing role and focus on brand equity, and of course we're going to go from one brand to vertical, so I had that to consider. And I wanted to address the organizational silos, and I'm sure all of us have those, so it's not a bad word. But most importantly, also, I was focusing on building a brand manager. And in my opinion, I don't think marketing as a department is the only professional in the company that should be responsible for marketing and branding. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a bit. But these days, customer service can blog FAQs, salespeople can blog and be measured on that, and of course, CEOs, CFOs, accountants. I mean, you want to bring everybody into the mix. It's not just marketing being responsible for it, because everybody has something to say, and of course, we all know that's a lot more integrated. So, how am I going to build marketing within already the teams that I have to work with? And for me, it was IT, creative, and sales were kind of my biggest priority. So IT, we use IBM Lotus Notes. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. That was our core application, and I had to kind of partner with IT on two things. It was very kind of specific and siloed. I have to make sure that we have internal communications, and actually this is like an internal Facebook that IBM provides. And also I wanted to make sure that our client online accounts and Salesforce was connected, integrated, specifically to our marketing automation. So those are my two kind of touch points that I had with IT. Now, of course, there's sensitivity and security. We give out money. You know, we give out money all day long. So there were some privacy issues. And then, of course, we had a targeted prospect list that was unusable because we did not have a marketing automation plan in place that was working. I knew I needed buy-in, and I knew I needed it fast, but I just felt like the bottleneck was always in place. That's okay. I'll just keep smiling. And I will. I'll just, I'll impress them with all these figures, because I know that that's kind of where their brain's at. And so, come on, I gotta get partnership, I gotta get buy-in. It's very critical. You know, we can't be separated. We need to be working together. Because marketing is very customer facing, but I needed speed. Again, just kept feeling the bottleneck. I kept asking, how is this project coming along? Are you done with this? Are you done with that? IT kept saying, yeah, you're somewhere on our list. And so I was kind of feeling a little helpless. Does anybody ever feel that way with IT? So a little bit siloed. Then I thought, okay, I got to make sure that sales is on board as well. So maybe if I could give them some very impressive metrics and data around marketing automation, they'll be on board, and I'll give them the proof that it works, and this way they can help me gently with pure diplomacy, just sort of push IT to kind of move faster on things that we needed to get done. So I thought, yeah, these numbers will definitely impress them. You know, companies that deploy marketing automation see 70% faster sales cycle times and 54% improvement in quota achievement. They also see 107% better lead conversion rates. I thought, okay, salespeople know the numbers, this is going to be great, they're going to be on board. Well, as it is with, usually the case, there was a little bit of a substantive stance on integrating with marketing. But, that's okay. 20 years, there's never been a marketing department, so I was a new kid on the block. There was resistance to CRM Salesforce. Yes, no. My sales manager was over there. No metrics, no dashboard. And frankly, it was a little bit confusing because they were successful without doing marketing. I mean, clearly, we want to be even more successful. But, what they were doing, and I kept telling them we need this and this and this, they weren't buying it. They just weren't buying it. Now, my KPI was basically to make sure that marketing and sales were married and working together, because clearly, together, we have to make sure that we're delivering on ROI. In terms of creative, you know what? I tried to build a creative department. I went through temp agencies and contractors and web developers and copywriters, I'm used to kind of pulling things together. It was not working. And we actually have a pretty complex service that we provide. So I've been following a little agency called Harvest Creative, and finally just said, okay, I'm going to outsource this. I want to outsource it forever because I want to eventually build a marketing team internally, but at this point, we are outsource our creative. So they're now on retainer, and we'll be doing our naming, branding, website, data messaging, communication strategy, all that. So that's exciting. I can kind of take a breath and say, oh, okay, that part is at least going to be somewhat taken care of. Now where do I go? I mean, I need directions. I need directions like, where do I go from here? Please. So I wanted to just kind of review my learnings, like where we were and what I was dealing with. So by the time I was hired, the company already had purchased a contract with HubSpot. Anybody working with HubSpot here? Two? Okay, cool. I was in love with HubSpot before I had to work with HubSpot, so I'm just telling you my story here. I was in love with it. When I interviewed, they were like, oh, we signed up for HubSpot, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful, that's genius, you know. They have really, really excellent content marketing, and it just looked really sexy, and just looked, you know, I was over the moon about it. But once I actually started working with them, there was an issue with a couple things. First of all, they focus on inbound, and I'm thinking we need to start with outbound and then kind of mix the inbound in. Also, they have a no purchase list policy. So if you're buying any lists, we could not email to 23,000 prospects that we had. That's a little bit of an issue. They weren't as flexible as we thought, had limited features, and most importantly, it did not work with our Lotus IVF. I mean, it's something you gotta remember. Whatever core application you're using at work, definitely check that out and make sure that it is compatible. So it had major limitations with our IBM. Frustrating, very, very frustrating. So our contract's pretty much over, but also we never ended up integrating it to Salesforce, and Salesforce was also already purchased by the time I got there. Now Salesforce is, you know, it's a huge platform. It really is meant for larger companies, not to say that you can't customize it. So we're working with a third party that we paid quite a bit of money for to help us out, customize, and teach the sales reps. Well, they didn't deliver. And nobody was really driving the bus, they didn't deliver. Meanwhile, we're still not connected to any marketing automation. Is it too large for our needs? Possibly. We were recommended to check out Sugar CRM, and I think we're highly considering it. It's a little bit smaller scale for us, and possibly will work with us a little bit better. It's affordable, it's scalable, and most importantly, it does integrate with Lotus. How many people are working with a large scale CRM system right now? Can anybody tell me what CRM is? Is anybody here working with a CRM? What are you working with?
One page, small.
Goldmine, okay?
Infusionsoft.
Okay. All right. So again, this is something to consider. Everyone's heard of Salesforce, and Infusion and Goldmine. You have to make sure that you have somebody on your side checking every single bit out. Like HubSpot didn't even ask us what you're using. We're using Lotus. Well, guess what? It's not compatible. So that's kind of a big issue. So it is well. So then when I started working with our agency, they said they use Emma. And a lot of agencies do use Emma for email marketing. Okay. It has very stylish templates. Their marketing demo video is super cool. There's music. It's beautiful. Sexy, as I say. I love it. Yeah. But guess what? Again, they have a no purchase list policy, meaning I cannot email to anybody who has not yet signed up. Okay? Now imagine, even though we're 20 years old, 20 years in business, it's like a startup. I'm like a startup. I'm starting up my department, so I kind of need to reach out and email someone, beyond just sending like a postcard or something. So that was an issue. But most importantly, Emma is not creating people to a marketing automation software because it's literally email marketing. What does that mean? That means that I can send a really beautiful email, and then it'll tell me who it went to and how many people opened it. That's it. Then we started checking out Constant Contact, MailChimp, because again, HubSpot was not working. Not working. Same thing with Constant Contact and MailChimp. It works fine with Lotus, actually, but again, it's a basic email platform. You also cannot email to a list. And the support is not really technical. It's just not technical. So you have to like wait and call and sit on the phone and wait for somebody technical to help you. There's not like an account manager that's going to help you every day whenever you have a question. So what did we end up using? We literally just signed up with Act-On, and this is, in my opinion, automation that rocks. Okay. I'm just going to show you the video, but I think it might take a bit long. So definitely check it out. I have a link that will bring you to this. And why did we decide on Act-On? Well, first of all, it's more affordable than HubSpot. And B, it's a true automation, marketing automation software. What do I mean by that? Maybe I'll just show you real quick. I'll do this. I was going to do the video. Okay, let's see. I think I have to do this. Yeah, I'll take a break from talking and you guys can hear this lovely.
Welcome to the Act-On Marketing Service product demo. This quick video provides an example of how Act-On can transform your company's website and marketing efforts into effective lead generation engines that deliver superior marketing intelligence and automate prospect qualification. Act-On empowers marketers to consolidate all of their online marketing activities on a single software platform. Meet Mary. Mary is in charge of all online marketing activities for her company, Actomatic Technologies. In this short video, we'll walk you through a scenario where Mary uses Act-On marketing automation tools to quickly qualify leads for sales based on prospect behavior. Act-On enables Mary to manage all of her online marketing programs from a single application. By having her email campaigns, web forms, landing pages, webinars, and automated programs all in one application, Mary no longer has to manage multiple marketing systems with disparate data, and she can focus more of her time on generating leads. Meet Bob. Bob is an executive looking for new technology to help grow his business. He's found the homepage for Mary's company and has decided to do some research. Bob finds something that interests him on Mary's website and clicks to learn more about the Actomatic time machine. Now that he's reviewed the basic information on the time machine, Bob clicks to download a complimentary data sheet. After clicking on the download button, he is prompted with an online form that Mary created in Act-On. Once Bob has filled out the form, he changes from an anonymous visitor to a named prospect in Mary's Act-On account. After form submission, an email will automatically be sent to Bob with the data sheet he requested. Bob continues to search through Mary's website, gathering information and researching the company. Act-On's website visitor tracking capabilities allow Mary to track visits by known prospects like Bob, as well as unknown visitors to let her know of new companies or competitors are viewing her web pages. When Bob filled out the form for the data sheet, he was automatically entered into a drip program that Mary set up in Act-On. Over the next few weeks, Bob will receive automated email messages from Mary's company. Mary uses the drip marketing capabilities in Act-On to nurture her prospects and guide them through the qualification process. The final message in Mary's drip program asks Bob to sign up for a webinar. Act-On's unique integration with WebEx allows Mary to manage the entire webinar process right from within her Act-On account. Let's watch Mary log into her Act-On account to measure the success of her marketing efforts. First, she checks in on the drip marketing program for prospects that have downloaded PDFs from the website. Looking at the drip program dashboard, Mary can judge the effectiveness of her program, see what stage her prospects are in, and view reports that let her know how her prospects have interacted with her email messages. From here, Mary checks in on the master prospect list. Mary has organized her marketing lists and created segments to filter out leads that are ready for sales engagement. Mary's chosen to filter her leads based on individual lead scores, which are calculated in real time and based on values and rules that she's defined. Let's drill down into her list of qualified leads for sales. From here, we see that Bob's entered Mary's list of qualified prospects. By clicking Bob's name, we're able to view his contact information and lead score, as well as a list of his activities. Bob's activity history lets us view his website visits, emails, form submissions, as well as the fact that he's registered for and attended a WebEx webinar. Now that Mary has a list of prospects qualified for sales, she can send them to her contact management system for sales follow-up. Act-On CRM integration allows Mary to automate the process of giving qualified leads to her salespeople. Now that Bob's been sent to the CRM system, he's been assigned to a sales rep for follow-up. Prior to reaching out to Bob, it is important that the rep knows more about Bob's interest. what marketing efforts he interacted with, what emails he received, documents he downloaded, or webinars he's attended. By viewing Bob's profile, the sales rep can see any activities associated with the campaigns Bob was a part of. But with a single click, he can also view the full history of Bob's marketing touchpoints right from within the CRM system. This will show a read-only version of Bob's profile with the same up-to-date information that is available to Mary. Act-on software as a service model means no upfront investments, software or hardware to buy, and no IT involvement, resulting in a true turnkey solution. The Act-on marketing service empowers marketers to take immediate and complete control of marketing campaigns with no involvement from IT departments. Best of all, an intuitive interface means quick implementation and minimal training. Click now to visit our homepage, join a live product demonstration, or sign up for a free trial. You can also call us.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Act-on or know anything about it, but the saving grace here is they say you don't need to be techie, you don't need to even have IT involved. For the most part, actually, that is true. So that's good because we all know that bottleneck that exists, or has been anyway, in my experience, between marketing and IT. The other thing here is that, I don't know if you saw, there was a kind of quick on the screen, they do scoring, they do lead scoring, which is really cool. And when I gotta tell you, I clicked on Act-on, I put in the information, because at this point, we all realize you can't download anything until you put your information in, of course. 30 seconds, maybe 29 seconds after I downloaded it, the sales guy called me, and he was awesome. But anyway, right on it. I completely forgot. He showed me how it all works and what my panel and my dashboard would look like. I completely forgot that I think 2 years ago, I contacted them first, and he had all of mine, everything I've downloaded, what I signed up for. And I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me that you know my age and my weight, because I look great. But it's amazing, like it's absolutely amazing. And the fact that you can lead score, meaning they gave me a medium lead score, but as soon as you hit, let's say you download a white paper, so that's a certain amount of scoring they're going to give you, like if you're a hot lead, warm lead, or super hot, right? But obviously, if they see me going to their pricing page, boom, that's a huge good flag that I'm super serious about it, and the salesperson will get an alert, okay? You got an alert that I checked out their pricing page. Super hot, get on it. No time to wait to send no brochure. Get on the phone and do a demonstration and then close the deal. So to me, that's amazing and fascinating. And then something that they don't show on here, that he showed in the presentation, total ROI. Like they can check every single email, every single campaign, and tell you exactly, down to the revenue, okay? What CFO doesn't want to hear that? What administrator doesn't want to hear that? So it's fascinating stuff. Again, huge difference between email marketing, pretty emails that you're getting that look professional, and you'll see who clicked, who didn't, and this is marketing automation. Marketing automation basically tracks your behavior. That's the bottom line. So this is why we chose Act-on, and we're just, let me tell you something, we've been with HubSpot for almost a year actually, and we kept saying, can you help us integrate with Salesforce, help us, and they kept saying, yeah, watch this video, here's the link, watch this video, here's the link. Our second appointment with Act-on, done. We spent an hour, we have an account person, we had a technical person walking us through it. With HubSpot, I'm not hating, I'm just talking my experience. With HubSpot, they were not the account managers that we talked to, were very nice ladies, and they kind of walked us through some templates, but they're always like, go to the university and learn on there. And they were not technical people. We had lots of technical issues and problems. So again, just a big difference for us anyway. Guess what? This was everything that up until this point, 4 months, this is all the things I had to determine, among other things. Obviously I had to put together processes. I'm most classically trained as an account executive in advertising in Chicago. So it's all about process and project management. So I've set all those things up, you know, the job jackets and the job numbers and creative briefs and all that. I want to make sure that everything is legit and working properly as a process. Status meetings, all that kind of stuff. But beyond that, I feel like up until this point, you know, I was working the old way, like in a silo, so to speak. And I told everybody, and I was told, and I accepted the fact that I'm going to serve sales. Sales is going to be my client, right? And then I run into this, and I just kind of had the hugest epiphany ever. I want to call it my Bible, but since this presentation is all about compass and direction, I will call it my new compass. A must read for sales and marketing professionals all around. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to read an excerpt from, it's a white paper actually that I downloaded, and you all please read it. I couldn't possibly grade 40 copies, but you definitely need to read this. This white paper, it's 40 pages, and it talks about the new brand of marketing, which for 50 years we had like one brand of marketing. It's just, we were comfortable with the way it was for 50 years, and now there's been a huge disruption. So let me read an excerpt from here. Within a decade or so, marketing went from being one of the least tech-dependent business functions to being one of the most. At first, most marketing departments kept the technology flooding into their work at arm's length. They relied on the IT department or agencies to build their websites, but as their technical needs multiplied, this soon became a bottleneck. More importantly, with a native understanding of the technology, marketing was limited, or without a native understanding of the technology, marketing was limited in how deeply it could absorb it into its strategy and tactics. A new kind of hybrid marketing professional emerged, and that is called the marketing technologist. On the marketing side, see, it's a conversion of technology and marketing, right? So marketing technology has fundamentally changed the capabilities of the marketing department. They cured it of blind codependence, and I'm completely guilty of that, on IT and external service providers. They've helped integrate technology into the bones of the strategy and tactics. They've made marketing tech savvy. So Scott Baker is the author-editor of Chief Marketing Technologist blog, and he's got a website, chiefmartech.com. And I believe he coined the phrase, basically, we've moved the shift, 50 years of marketing and 20 years of the internet. Basically, we kept saying it's going to be a huge shift, big disruption. Well, it took 20 years, because for a while, yes, we had websites, but really, companies just kept operating the way they normally did. Even with a website, it was, you know, nothing that hugely insanely different. Well, there's been a huge convergence now, and he says that a chief marketing technologist is key. And basically, that's on my wish list. That's exactly what I need on our team at this point. So the birth of the technologist, again, we went from Marcom to Martech. Not that Marcom is going anywhere, because, I mean, it's always going to be there, but this is basically the key. This is basically the priority right now. This is somebody who can speak a business leader's language and intersect CMO and CEO's priorities. And frankly, it would be hugely helpful for me, okay? Because I need somebody who straddles tech and marketing. He talks about 7 metatrends as technology-powered discipline. And metatrends means, you know, they're here to stay. This is not just a little, you know, 1-2 punch. This is here to stay. Obviously, we're moving from traditional to digital. And I have to say, even kind of starting with this position, I was still thinking, I think traditionally how I've been operating as a marketing advertising professional. We have to go from media silos, you know, let's put all this money in radio or media or outdoor, to converged media, you know, paid, organic, earned. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Outbound to inbound. And you know, what Guy Kawasaki says actually, when I was reading also this white paper, he said, the Guy Kawasaki said, I was thinking about that too, like when do you do inbound, when do you do outbound? Well, Guy says that if you have a little budget and a lot of brains, go for inbound. if you have a large budget and not much brains, then you do outbound. But frankly, I mean, obviously it's a bit of a joke because clearly they have to work together. If you do outbound, that kind of prepares the audience in the market for inbound. This is another big thing, change in marketing. It's going from communications to experience, and I know we've all heard of it, experience, I get it, but it really, really hit me when I read this white paper. From rigid plans, this is good news, from rigid like marketing plans, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-page marketing plans, to agile iterations. Just think about it. I could plop an 80-page or 30-page marketing plan on my CEO's desk, and something could happen in social media and the industry in an afternoon, and you know, that just went out the window. It's just too stale. Like nobody does marketing plans, apparently. They're dead. Not that you don't plan, not that there's not a strategy, but a marketing plan, I know, it's questionable. So they talk about putting together smaller groups, like mini groups within your marketing department that will basically build, test, and launch. Build, test, and launch. Build, test, and launch. And so you're able to change it as you go because that's basically the world that we're living in now, right? Nothing static. They're also saying that we're moving from agencies to in-house marketing. So that will definitely be on my agenda. And it's an intersection at this point. The intersection is between marketing and IT. And for all these years, or for many, many years, sales, they kind of led the, they kind of cornered the market on information, syndicated information. They would bring maybe detailed doctors on their product, like I did when I was doing sales. They would tell them about their competitors. They would tell them about the marketplace, about, thought leaders, this, all that. Well, obviously, it's gone from sales being responsible for doing that to marketing. And he says, Scott, that it's the golden age of marketing, and we're at the top of the pyramid. Why? Because probably 60% of the life cycle of the lead is we start with them. They already are finding information about the company. We're interacting with them on social media. We mean marketing, right? So we have all this contact with them, and then we're almost like handing it over for sales to close the deal. So basically, this is some good links that I wanted to add in the presentation, which you guys are definitely able to access. Some of my favorite things, of course, Actor, Gary Vaynerchuk. There's a million more, but I just wanted to list a few of the top ones that I try to check, every day. And by the way, Prezi over here. Have you guys, who's used Prezi before? Okay, cool. So I guess there's a whole new platform out there that's even hotter than Prezi. So, but yes, no more PowerPoints. That's the other thing. We're going to use this for our salespeople. We're going to use this for everything basically we do because it's a heck of a lot more engaging. So that's my presentation, but my hope is that eventually sales, IT, and marketing will be very happy together. Comments from our IT friends? Yes.
I have a question. So everyone here is at different stages with business, different roles, but what's the one thing you would have people start with to build a better marketing program today?
Well, read that list. The bottom line is that everything that I've gone through, like all my learnings for 4 months, I've kind of been spinning my wheels, running around in circles. Now that I realize that sales and marketing are basically at completely different kind of levels, I think that y'all have to take on the fact that, and just accept the fact that you can't be anti-technology. And I myself just very recently realized that. I really literally was like, okay, well, I'll have to wait till IT tells me that, or until they approve it, or until they help me, until they know that, or until they review this vendor for me. And that white paper completely changed my mind. And the fact that there's a whole new species of marketing tech professionals just will absolutely blow your mind. And because it is about marketing now, it is about, we're in the driver's seat at this point. I mean, clearly our roles and our responsibilities have completely expanded. It's completely expanded. Every touch point, we always knew that, but literally every touch point from, the internet to somebody calling in to customer service, it's all us, it's all on us, including basically half of the sales cycle. So I say you basically have to completely wrap your head around the fact that forget about the silos, forget about, sales here, marketing here, IT. You literally have to take on a more technical mind and just be absolutely voracious about all the technology and all the software. And there's so much more to manage right now in marketing. So many third vendors and so many, everything from software to obviously creative to internally. And exactly what they said. I mean, if you can, start building that internally. And I think that's the most important thing. You'll be for technology. Yes. Hi.
Okay, sorry. What would your recommendation be for someone who wears all the hats in an individual, small,
What? Social media.
Like,
Well,
what would be the first, where do we start? I mean, we're already on social media.
do you guys do marketing automation?
Somewhat.
Okay. That would be huge. That's why I focused on it so much, because it's like a spider web, right? I mean, it could be one person sitting behind a desk. Do you agree, Srikara? But if you have 20,000, 300,000, whatever it is that your prospect list is, you could be reaching them at a moment's notice, and not just randomly. This is the beauty. You can see and watch their behavior, test their behavior, test what different headlines work, what different offers work. It's just so highly customized that I think that would be the number one investment I would do.
Okay. For lack of time
Sorry.
restraints, you stick around for a few questions afterwards. If anybody has questions, follow up.
Thank you very much. She's
Presentation.
dressed